Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county of Shelbyville, in the state of Tennessee. Today is early Sunday morning, December the 10th, 2017. Time 4:21 a.m. First, I thank all my fans, my support, for your continued encouragement, support. I'll continue to keep myself employed right here in this Memphis tri-state area and continue to further my education at Monroe College. And I'm pursuing my associate degree. I'm studying business administration, concentrating in marketing. And what we're gonna do right now, I'm gonna go do my Instagram. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county of Shelbyville, in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Sunday morning, December the 10th, 2017. And the time, 4:23 a.m. First, say thank you all my fans, my support, for your continued encouragement and support. Excuse me. And want to first always give thanks to God, and we want to thank God for all His blessings and His guidance. And that's the most important thing. I'll always put God first. What I'm gonna do right now? Do my periscope. Do my periscope. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis in the county series in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Sunday morning, December the 10th, 2017. Time 4:28 a.m. I first say thank you to all my fans, my support, for continuing to encourage me and support. Excuse me. First, want to always give thanks to God. Want to always give thanks to God first. And I know that, like I said, I'll be doing my videos, and I don't have no problem doing my videos. I do my videos, and the information that's being dispensed is important. People out here lying, and the lies that they telling are very serious. It needs to be taken serious, because people's lives are affected by the lies that other people tell. People lie to their own families, and they lie to people outside their family. It's wrong, and it needs to be rectified. It needs to end. And all this lying and things of this nature. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for the lies that these being specific now, these fraternities, these sororities, And also, we don't leave out these so-called secret societies. You know what I'm saying? The lies that they tell. And including, and also these man-made religious organizations, the lies that they tell. People lie. And myself as well as there are other people who try their best to expose the lies. You understand? And cause I mean, like I said, there's no excuse to have it. People walking around talking about they in a gang and all this. Like, you had a dictionary. There is a dictionary, and it's been a dictionary. You understand? And also, excuse me, people speak language all over this earth. So how can people on all over this earth speak language without even knowing what the words in their language mean? I mean, because historically, we go back in history. People talk about how they developed the alphabet and the writing. You understand, writing, and how people communicate. Just historically, how people all over this earth communicate. And so that's a very serious issue. And the lies, just like slavery. And people, slavery. They just take slavery. People will sit around and argue. They'll make a big argument about slavery. I know it sounds to some people. I mean, to many people, you'll be like, there's no argument. It's wrong. Automatic. It just be like automatic wrong. But I'm telling you, there are people who will argue you to death. They'll be ready to grab a gun. Just like you serious on one side, you totally against slavery. It'll be people on the other side, they'll be just as for slavery and ready to kill you. See, that's the reason why it's so important, all these about lies. And people like child marriage. You understand? People will argue. They will argue. And then the argument will get so heated about child marriage. It'll be so heated. People have to be separated. You understand that? About child marriage. You can say whatever you want about, the government and talking about it's wrong and they're going to pass up. Irregardless of what you do, people start talking about their ancestors. And you ain't going to tell them their ancestor was wrong. You speak the language, and this word in our language means this, and for this many years we've been speaking our language, and you're not going to tell of me, and you're not going to tell my ancestor was wrong. I'm telling you, people will argue you to they'll be ready to kill you about child marriage. I'm not saying I'm for or against. I'm just speaking on the issue generally about language and people lying. You know what I'm saying? See, that was just two examples about how language, historically language. We talk about the dictionary and the handwriting and things like that. Well, people been speaking like people been communicating on this earth for many, many years, communicating. So trying to deal with these lies is not something that just started today. Now, let's get started. We're gonna continue, to expose these lies. Now, I know sometime Like we talk about the Bible. Like I like to talk about the Bible, and we, like I said, put God first. Always put God first. We always thank God for all the blessings and His guidance. Always put God first. And we're going to continue to expose Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, and who was supposedly converted on the road to Damascus in Syria. And in Acts chapter 9, he was supposedly converted by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And after his conversion, you understand, and we know in Acts chapter 9, the disciples, Ananias was a disciple, Barnabas was a disciple, and we know about Apostle Peter, and Saul in Acts chapter 9, he was introduced to the not only to the disciples but to the apostles in Acts chapter 9. We know that Acts chapter 9 also tells us that the churches rested from persecution after Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. He was converted supposedly, and we also know in Acts chapter 9 about Dorcas, Tabitha. She was a disciple, and Acts chapter 9 the very first verse, it tells us that the disciples of the Lord, the disciples of the Lord were being persecuted by Saul from Tarsus. And while we talking about, while we continue to talk about the disciples, we know that Acts chapter 1 tells us, Acts chapter 1, that Peter, the Apostle Peter, he stood up in the midst of the disciples. We know that the disciples in Acts chapter 1, they chose another apostle to replace Judas, who hung himself after betraying our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And the lot fell upon Matthias. And we know that in Acts chapter 6, verses 1, it talks about the disciples multiplying. Acts chapter 6, verse number 2, and Acts chapter 6, verse number 7, it talks about the disciples multiplying. And like I said, we talk about the conversion of Saul in Acts chapter 9. Now, Acts chapter 11, the first place where this lie about being a Christian. Acts chapter 11, verse 26. It's a lie. It's a lie. Way over there in Antioch. Way over there in Antioch. We hear about the disciples, the disciples being called Christian. It's a lie. Way over there in Antioch. So after in Acts chapter 11, we know about the lie. And Acts chapter 13, we know that Mark, John, whose surname was Mark, in Acts chapter 13, he was traveling with Saul. In Acts chapter 13, verse number 13, he goes back to Jerusalem. Acts chapter 15, that's when they had a meeting in Jerusalem. Saul from Tarsus and Barnabas were brought back to Jerusalem in front of the apostles and the elders of the church in Acts chapter 15. So that's again, we know that saying you're a Christian is a lie. It's a lie. Saying you're a Christian is a lie. They had a meeting in Acts chapter 15. The apostles and the elders of the church, they were there. Saul from Tarsus and Barnabas were brought before the apostles and the elders of the church in Jerusalem. It's a lie. Peter stood up, and again, Peter, the apostle Peter, stood up in Acts chapter 15 and made it clear about calling yourself a Christian. We the disciples. All those that follow Jesus Christ are the disciples. That's what they call. That's what you are called. That's what Jesus Christ called all his followers, the disciples. And then he chose 12 to be his apostles. He called them apostles. And also in Acts chapter 15, we know that Saul again lied, was exposed. He got into a heated argument with Barnabas about Mark. You know what I'm saying? And was separated. You know, they went separate, different directions. Barnabas and John, whose surname was Mark, went one direction, and and Saul and Silas went in another direction. Now, Saul never did reconcile. Now, let's make this clear. Saul never did reconcile with John, whose surname was Mark. He never. Then he gets into an argument with Barnabas about John and Mark. So there again, he didn't even reconcile with Barnabas. So there again, he this is what we want to make sure we don't. The devil never repented. The devil never repented. And so this whole thing about Saul being converted, the devil never repented. Now, Saul from Tarsus again lied about his conversion. In Acts chapter 22, he lied about being converted. Acts chapter 22, verse number 7, 8, 9. We know in Acts chapter 22, I got my Bible right here. In Acts chapter 22, he tells about his conversion. And he tells that he lied about the men that were traveling with him. And lied and said that they didn't hear the voice. We know that's a lie. Acts chapter 9, it tells about his conversion and those that traveled with him. They heard the voice of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. They heard his voice. And he lied about those men. And Acts chapter 26, again, Saul lied about his conversion to King Agrippa. In Acts chapter 26, verse 28, King Agrippa in Acts chapter 26, verse 28, said he was almost persuaded to be a Christian. This was after Saul in Acts chapter 26, verses 13 and 14, lied again about his conversion, claiming that I heard the voice. The men that all those that traveled with him, they didn't hear it, so he just said that I heard the voice. And also that's the second place about that lie, talking about being a Christian. The third place is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 16, where it says, if any man suffer as a Christian. The Apostle Peter did not tell you to be a Christian. The Apostle Peter was telling you that there was people walking around lying. when he said, if any man suffer as a Christian, let him go to God on his behalf. You know what I'm saying? Well, I got my Bible right here, you know what I'm saying? And so we know that that's a lie. The Apostle Peter was not telling you to be a Christian. That's a lie. The Apostle Peter was telling you there are people lying. There are people lying. There are people going around lying about all kinds of stuff, not just the disciples. People going around lying about a lot of things. But one of the main things they were going around lying about was what we call, the followers of Jesus Christ, being the disciples. And being a disciple. And there were people going around lying. Now also in 2 Peter. Now don't forget, also in 1 Peter. Chapter 1, verse number 1. The Apostle Peter makes it clear who he is, which is very important. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse number 1. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse number 1. And also in 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 15 through 18. It talks about Saul writing all these epistles, doing all this epistle writing. You understand? And so the Apostle Peter made it clear that he was aware of Brother Paul writing all this, doing all this epistle writing. See, it goes back to Acts chapter 15 when the elders and the apostles wrote an epistle. And when they wrote that epistle, they made it clear about the things that to abstain, abstain from meats being offered to idols, and you understand, Acts chapter 15, the apostles and the elders of the church, they sent this epistle. They sent these epistles back to the churches through Saul and Barnabas. So after that, Saul started this epistle writing. Nobody told Saul to write anything, and nobody needed Saul to write anything, because you had the elders of the church as well as the apostles. Nobody is following Saul. See, this is the reason why the Apostle Peter in Acts chapter, 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 15 through 18. This is the reason why the Apostle Peter made it clear that I'm the Apostle Peter. And I'm aware of all this epistle writing that Saul, the beloved brother Paul, writing all these epistles. I'm Peter. You understand? I'm aware of it. And whatever he writing, I'm Peter. You understand? It's like you trying to make it sound like the Apostle Peter need to read Saul's epistles. So we're gonna stay on God's word, the Holy Bible, and we're gonna continue to expose Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, and gonna continue to bring to the light the disciples, and continue to promote the disciples, and continue to speak out about the lie that's been told and being told about the calling yourself a Christian. It's a lie. Now, we're going to continue to talk about African traditional religion. As you know, African traditional religion is being taught at institutions of higher learning, meaning colleges and universities in sub-Saharan Africa. You can earn a bachelor's degree, master's degree. You can earn a PhD studying African traditional religion. Now, one of the books we're going to continue to read from, and we're going to refer to its title, West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasei and Weledu, Dr. P. Adelumo Depemu. And also, another book we're going to continue to read from, referred to as titled African Traditional Religion and Definition, written by Dr. E. Beloja Adowu. Another book we're going to continue to read from, referred to as titled African Religions and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. Another book we're going to continue to read from, referred to as titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. Now, as you know, there are many governments, all over the earth that continue to enact laws. And the laws that they enact are intended to make each and every one of us safe from crime, organized crime. And the United States government And also, one more thing. While it's on my mind, that's these man-made religious organizations. Romans chapter 16, verse 16. Salute one another with an holy kiss. And the church with the E suffix ES of Christ salute you. The man-made religious organization is where they come from. This is where your man-made religious organization come from. They use the Bible. The United States government, they passed a law, the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970, and Title IX of the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970, the Racketeer, Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, the RICO Act. It's anti-gang. And also, the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970, the Controlled Substance Act, the Psychotropic Substance Act, the Continuing Criminal Enterprise Statute, the Kingpin Statute. It's all anti-gang. And also the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Act of 1974 established the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, plus other related legislation. The Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, and Comprehensive Gang Model, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, Bureau of Justice Assistance, Office of Justice Program, United States Department of Justice. The Office of Justice Program, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, United States Department of Justice, Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, Project Safe Neighborhood, United States Department of Justice, Office of Community-Oriented Police and Service, Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative. The Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, Bureau of Justice Assistance, International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, United States Department of State, Institute for Intergovernmental Affairs, Gang Resistance Education and Training, the GREAT Program. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, in October 2009. The National Youth Gang Center, which have been funded by the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention since 1995, merged with the National Gang Center, which had been funded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance since 2003. The National Gang Center, compilation of state laws against gangs. You can go to the National Gang Center website and be informed about the state laws against gangs. Gang Prevention Overview Research and Program, Mr. James C. Howard, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. The United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, National Gang Center Bulletin. Now, the title of that bulletin is History Street Gangs in the United States. And in the bulletin, there are books in the bulletin for you to refer to. Read the books in the bulletin. Now, the same information can be found on Wikipedia, and the title of that information is Gangs in the United States. The United States Department of Justice, Office of the United States Attorney Manual 1457, Criminal Street Gang Statute 18, United States Code 521. The United States Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, National Gang Intelligence Center. The United States Department of Justice, Organized Crime and Gang Section, and other federal, state, and local agencies. United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, Anti-Gang Strategies, Prevention, Intervention, Assessment, and Suppression. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice. The United States Department of Health and Human Services, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, National Center for Injury Prevention and Control. Changing course, preventing gang membership, and also striving to reduce youth violence everywhere. The United States Department of Justice, the United States Department of Education, United States Department of Health and Human Services, the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, United States Department of Labor, and the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy National Forum on Youth Violence Prevention. You can go to youth.gov and be informed about the Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, Comprehensive Gang Model, and the National Forum on Youth Violence Prevention. The United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, National Crime Prevention Council, keeping kids out of gangs. Anti-hazing. You can go to lawyers.com and be informed about anti-hazing. And also coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. Coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. Now, this is the world map. Now we're gonna continue to go over all this about gang, which is German. Goon is English. Boss, that's Dutch, which is all German. The abbreviation mob is Latin. Thug, that's Indian, and all these other words that people use. All this organized crime, secret societies, the criminal street gangs, the religious, man-made religious organization. People call themselves a hustler, a pimp, a whore, people say all kind of stuff, calling themselves a stone and calling themselves a player and Mac, talking about they are a gangster and a mobster and all these hoodlum and a hooligan and a crook. You know what I'm saying? And people just make up all this junk. It's just some junk. All this fraternity and sorority, calling themselves some kind of Greek letters and things of this nature. They make it all up. It's just a bunch of lies. And so there are other people living in Europe as well as all on this earth, and who were not involved, did not participate in the East African, West African slave trade. And the Albanian speaking people, East European people, the Albanian speaking people, they were not involved, they did not participate in the East African, West African slave trade. Also, the Baltic speaking people, the East European nation of Lithuania and Latvia, they were not involved, they did not participate in the East African, West African slave trade. Now, the East European nation of Greece, the Greek-speaking people, they were not involved. They did not participate in the East African, West African slave trade. The Slavic speaking people, the East European nation of Russia, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, Bulgaria, Belarus, the Ukraine, the former Yugoslavian republics of Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Slovenia, Montenegro, Macedonia, and Kosovo. They were not involved. They did not participate in the East African, West African slave trade. The East European nation of Turkey. The East European nation of Turkey. And Turkey is also referred to as Anatolia. And the Turkic language is classified as Altaic. And the Altaic speaking people, they were not involved. They did not participate in the East African, West African slave trade. Now, the Turkish people, they also, the Ottomans. Now, the East European nation of Hungary, the Hungarians, the East European nation of Finland, the Finnish people, the East European nation of Estonia, the Estonians, they speak what is referred as classified as, their language is classified as the Uralic, as Uralic, the Uralic speaking people, Altaic, the Uralic Altaic languages. the Uralic speaking people, they were not involved. They did not participate in the East African or West African slave trade. Now, the Romania, no. Now, Romania is an East European nation, and basically, the Romanian people, they speak Latin, and as you know, Latin is the Romance language, like such as Spanish, Portuguese, French, the Italians. You know what I'm saying? Romance language. And there are 3 divisions of Romania. Moldavia, Transylvania, and Wallachia. And historically, Romania is a Greek. The Romanian people are Greek-speaking people historically. Even though they speak Latin, but historically, the reason being is that the Romanian people are Thracian. Let that be understood. They are the Thracians, and the Thracians are Greek-speaking people. They are Greek. Now it says prior to the Roman conquest of Dacia, the territories between the Danube and the Dniester River were inhabited by various Thracian peoples, including the Dacians and the Getae. Now, the Roman incursions under Emperor Trajan between 101 and 102 AD and 105 and 106 AD resulted in half of the Dacian kingdom becoming a province of the Roman Empire, called Dacia Fetus. The Roman rule lasted for about 165 years. During this period, the province was fully integrated into the Roman Empire, and the southern part of the population were newcomers from other provinces. The Roman colonists introduced the Latin language. According to the followers of the continuity theory, the intense Romanization gave birth to the Proto-Romanian language. So that's the reason why the people that historically, that again, like I said, the Romanian people are Greek. Historically, they are Greek, and so and also Romania, they have a history of slavery, and the people who were enslaved were the Roma people. Now the Roma people, also known as the Gypsies, the Roma people, also known as the Gypsies. They are Indian people from India. They're from India. Originally, they are Indian, and the Roma people were enslaved in Romania. Now, slavery was abolished in Romania in the early 1800s and 1850s. It was abolished. That's legal terminology. When you abolish, you end something illegally, and when you it's the government. The government said not only ended it, but they were telling the Romanian people that it was wrong, and they were also telling the Roma people that it was wrong. And today, the Roma people are free. They're not slaves. They're integrated and assimilated into the Romanian society. There are Roma people all over Europe and as well as other parts of the world. But like I said, the Roma people are Indian people. And now, during World War II, Romania, there were atrocities committed in Romania by Adolf Hitler and the Germans. Now, prior to World War II, there were no concentration camps. There was no Jews or Christians or anybody. There was Romanian being killed by the Romanian government in that way. I mean, all of this stuff started during World War II, and as well as all over Europe, the Germans with the Nazis murdering Jews and Christians and just murdering people, period. In Romania, over 300,000 Romanian Jews, Christians, and just Romanian people, period, were murdered by Adolf Hitler and the Germans. And over 10,000 Roma people were murdered by Adolf Hitler and the Germans during World War II. And so, like I say, Romania, they were not involved and they did not participate in the East African, West African slave trade. Now, let's go to the dictionary. Now, let me clear this out here. Now, I do have in my possession Merriam-Webster dictionary. And copyright 2004. I have in my possession a Merriam-Webster thesaurus. Copyright 2005. Have in my possession an Oxford paperback dictionary and thesaurus. First edition 2001, second edition 2007, third edition 2009. The Pocket Oxford American Dictionary and Thesaurus. First edition 2002, second edition 2006, third edition 2010. Now, everybody that's been watching my Periscope and my Facebook live video, you know, we've been continuing to go over these words and things that these secret societies, you know what I'm saying, organized crime, criminal street gangs, man-made religious organizations such as Catholic Church, Church of Christ, Baptist Church, Nation of Islam, what they call it, Black Hebrew Israelites, the Episcopalian Church, Presbyterian Church, Methodist Church, Anglican Church, Amish, and Scientology, and go on and on and on. All man-made religious organizations, sure. And we continue to go to the dictionary. Now, you know, I recently purchased through Amazon.com Webster's Third New International Dictionary, and also the Compact Oxford English Dictionary. And so we're gonna go there right now, and we got time, and we're gonna continue to talk about the lies that the fraternity and the sorority tell. Talking about some 3 Greek letters and talking about Greek letter period, and talking about being on school campus, and talking about the number 3 and being initiated, and what you know, the method and the purpose, the reason for initiation, and all the lies that the fraternity and sorority tell. You know, they lie. The fraternity lie, the sorority lie. In and everything, in and everything is a lie. They just lie. you know, this is the copyright 1986. 1986. Now, you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of education that were involved who contributed to the making of this dictionary, from the editor-in-chief all the way down. Education, bachelor degree, master degree, PhD. So let's go to game. I love magnifying glass from Amazon.com. Now this the magnifying glass came with my compact Oxford English Dictionary. So let's go to game. Okay, we in a gang. It's a noun. Now this gang number one. This gang number one. Middle English, from Old English akin to Old High German. Gang. Act of going. Old Norse, ganger. Act of going, goth. Gang, street. Okay, number one, the first definition, the very first definition. The act, manner, or means of going. Passage, course, journey, also gate. Number 2A, dialect chiefly British. Number 1, passage, way, road, lane. Number 2A, pasturage for cattle. B, chiefly Scottish, journey, especially one undertaken to perform an errand. Chiefly Scottish, the amount as of wood, water, or peat that can be carried at one time or in one trip. Number 3A, number 1, a set or full complement of articles, outfit, a gang of oars. Now you know that's an invention. That's an invention, a gang of oars. We know what the word gang means. A passage. The act, manner, or means of going. A gang of oars. Number 2, a combination of similar implements or other items arranged so as to act together to save time or labor. A gang of saws, or to produce in one operation or as one unit. A gang of printing plates, printing several jobs on a single sheet. B, a number of individuals making up a group as one. A group of persons working under the same direction or at the same time. Same task. Migrants laboring in gangs in the woods, mines, and fields. American Guide series. Gangs of expert bottomers. Number 2, a company of criminals. A gang of desperate banditti squealed on the other members of the gang. Number 3, an elementary and close-knit social group of spontaneous origin. Such a unit composed of antisocial adolescent teenage gangs. Number 4, a group of persons acting in accord who are believed to engage in improper acts or to be influenced by self-seeking, corrupt, or unworthy motives, made captive by the gangs which seize power. Denounced the musical then in power. A political gang dragged out the racial issue. 2, congenial persons having A political gang dragged out the racial issue to divert attention from itself. A group of congenial persons having close and informal social relations. A group of persons drawn together by a community of tastes, interests, or activity. One of a gang, they call one another great. Invite the gang plus some pretty girls. Where's the gang going tonight? The gang in the office. Number 6, a flock or herd of animals. A gang of little chickens. Now gang number 2. Gang number 2 is a verb. Number 1, to attack a person as a gang. Young hoodlums always gang you. Try to gang him and take it away from him. Number 2A, to assemble or operate mechanical or electronic parts simultaneously away as a group. Circuits gang together by gears. Number B, to arrange in or produce as a gang. It's type A or printed sheets, often used with up. To form a group or gang, keep company. Go travel empty-handed, idle-handed widows who gang together. Gangs with those kids on the next block, often used with up. The boys would gang up around a corner drugstore. Number 3, gang. Middle English, gang, to go, walk. From Old English, gang, akin to Old High German, gang, to go. Old Norse, gang, God. Gang, to go. Old English, gang. Act of going. Scottish, go. That's what the word gang means. Got it wrote down. And as I stated, and I'm going to state it again, all the little girls and little boys on the south side of Chicago, west side of Chicago, as well as north and east side, as well as the entire state of Illinois. Little girls and little boys on the East Coast, little girls and little boys in Los Angeles, California, little girls and little boys all over the United States, all over this earth. When we talk about Webster's third New International Dictionary, when you say third, that means it was a second. When you say the second, it means it was the first. So when we talk about the dictionary, we know there's a timeline. Now, Webster's International Dictionary, 1890 and 1900. And the title of the dictionary, Webster's International Dictionary of the English Language of the 1890. Then you had Webster's New International Dictionary 1909. Then you have Webster's New International Dictionary, second edition, 1934. And then we have Webster's Third New International Dictionary, 1961. No excuse. No excuse. No excuse. Don't accept any excuses. No excuse for people to be walking around lying. There's no excuse. Okay, let's go to gangster. Okay, gangster. Gangster. It's a noun, gang plus stir. A member of a gang of criminals, gunmen, thugs, also a person who uses violence, intimidation, or other extra legal means of coercion for business ends, racketeer, a gangster, and some kind of syndicate that controls stores and nightclubs. Name one gangster as the real boss of the city. Alright. So that's gang plus stir. Now let me go to stir. Okay, stir. A person or thing associated with an activity or quality. Old English, estuary or ice street. Early example referred to a woman engaged in an occupation such as Brewster, Malster, and Spencer. This last originated woman who spins. The ending was the feminine equivalent of words ending in ERE, which later became CER. It has long been extended to activities undertaken by men such as chorister or teamster, words in which it refers to a characteristic of the person that include youngster and the U.S. derived oldster, as well as hipster, a person who is hip, who follows the latest trends and fashion. Less often the ending refers to objects. Roaster being a rare example. It often has a derogatory sense. Tipster, rhymester, prankster. Many of these are more common in the U.S. than Britain. Gangster, huckster, jokester, mobster, punster, trickster. Such terms continue to be formed again most frequently in the U.S. Popster, hypester, soulster, scamster. Master comes from Old English magister, which derives from Latin magister. See also meester, meister. Others that derive from Latin words with the same ending include minister and barrister. Formed from bar, an imitation of minister, as do nouns ending in aster, such as poster, and words such as boaster, jester, broadcaster, and protester. The suffix is er, cer number 1, on a stem ending in st. trying to save time. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stay in this book here, and we're gonna go to fraternity. We're going to go to fraternity. F-R-A. Now don't forget freight and fro. Okay, we're gonna start with fraternity. Okay, it's a Middle English fraternity. The Middle French and Latin, Middle French fraternity, French Latin. Fraternity, fraternitas, fraternus, plus itis. Now, did you break all this down? Now, I know during the week I did a little research when I had time. You see that TER? Did you find out what that TER means? We've been going over freight. Did you see frater, that TER? And did you find out N-I, and then the TY? Okay. Fraternity. Number one, a group of people associated or formally organized for a common purpose, interest, or pleasure as a religious or ecclesiastical brotherhood, be an organized group of men of the same class, occupation, interest, or pursuit, company, guild, fraternal order. C, a national, local men's student organization formed chiefly for social purposes, having secret rights and a name consisting of usually 3 Greek letters. Also an organization of alumni who were members of such an organization. D, a student organization for scholastic, professional, extracurricular activities, a national honorary organization including students and alumni, and honorary fraternity, a debating fraternity. Number 2, A, the quality or state of being a brother or being brothers. The relationship of a brother or of brothers. B, the quality or state of being brotherly or very friendly. Brotherliness. See, brotherly commonness as an occupation, men with a fraternity of interest. Number 3, men of the same class, profession, occupation, character, or taste. The Leo fraternity, the racetrack fraternity, the despised fraternity of armchair historian, T.S. Brown. 4A, the despised fraternity of armchair historian, T.S. Brown. No, 4A, the entire progeny of a single maiden. B, a group of siblings. See, when you see that freight, you keep saying freight, like fraternize and fraternal, frati, frater. It always started out with F-R-A. And you saying the same thing over and over again, brother. And so like I asked the question again, being brother. You understand? What's all this initiation stuff? See, that's the lie. That's the lie. Not only being initiated, but the method of initiation. You understand? The way that you get initiated. People telling you you got to do this and you got to do that. You got to say this, you got to say that. You understand? You don't do this, you don't do that. You don't say this, you don't say that. See, that's the lie. That's the lie that the fraternity and the sorority be telling about that initiation stuff. Talking about afraid means brother and sorrow means sister. You be lying. They be lying. The fraternity and the sorority lying. Okay, so that's fraternity. So, like I said, fraternal, frater, and fratey. So let's go to fray. Okay, fray. Now, okay. Now, when we talk about fray, okay, fray number one. That's fray number one, fray number two. So, fray number one. It says Middle English, Northern dialect, fray, fro. Old Norse, fray. Moy, from. Scottish, from. Okay, then you have fray number two. Short for fratey, brother. Monk from Latin. Frater, brother. More and brother. Brother. Often used as a title preceding the name of an Italian monk or friar. So fray means brother. Fray means brother. That's all it means, brother. So all this stuff about the fraternity, talking about some 3 Greek letters, it's a lie. Because all the word fray means is brother. That's all it means, brother. So all this stuff about being initiated, that's a lie. The way you get initiated, that's a lie. The fraternity is a lie. They lying. And since the fraternity lie, then you know the doggone so-called gang, criminal street gang lying. The criminal street gang line, the organized criminals, they lying. The man-made religious organization, they lying. They lying. Okay, so okay, let's go to mob and sorrow. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, mob. Now mob 1, 2, 3. Okay, there are 4 mobs. So mob number 1. Mob number 1. Okay, it says number 1, origin unknown, obscure, undressed, dishabille. Number 2, modified mob, woman's cap, a mob cap. Okay, mob number 2 is a verb. Mob, mobbed, mobbing, mobs. Back formation from mobile, archaic, to muffle the head of, as in a hood. Number 2, mob, archaic, to dress oneself negligently, to go to an unfashionable place disguised or so dressed as to avoid recognition. Now, mob number 3 is a noun often attributed short for mobile. Number 1, the lower class of a community, the populace, or the lower part of it, mass, the use of superstition for the purpose of policing the mob. Political spellbinding to the mob. Political spellbinding. Wait a minute. Political spellbinding to appeal to the mob mind. Okay. Number 2A. A large and disorderly collection of people tending to acts of violence. Windows smashed and police beat by the angry mob. A fear of mob rule. B. Obscure people in a large disorderly group used without an article. The lane was full of mob and the house so full we could not get in. Number 3, chiefly Australian. A flock, drove, or herd of animals. Number 4, A criminal set or organization, as of pickpockets or gangsters. Gang, B, click, set. Synonym, C, crowd. Now mob number 4. Verb, mob, mobbed, mobbing, mobs. Number 1, A. To crowd about and attack or annoy. Mob by autograph. Hunters before he could enter the theater. Attack in a mob. A crowd tried to mob him and he ran for safety into the superintendent's office. B. To crowd into or around. Bargain hunters that mob the stores on sale days. Number 2, chiefly English. To rail at, scold, abuse. Number 3, to hunt as a fox in such a way as to allow the quarry no chance to escape as by surrounding it. To form a disorderly mob, crowd, or riot in a mob. The waiting news of mob full. Now mob abbreviation. Number 1, mobile, mobilization, mobilize. That's what it means. Now let's go to mobile. Now we know there are 3 mobiles. Okay, mobile number 1, mobile number 2, mobile number 3. No, that's 4. There are 4 mobile screws. Because the last mobile is down in Alabama. That's number 4. So that's number 4. So the first one. Middle French from Latin mobilis, mobilis, from Latin movere to move, plus abilis, more and move. Okay, number 1, capable of being moved from one place to another. Movable as a capable of moving or being moved about readily. Globular proteins that are mobile and rod-shaped proteins that form solid structure. The tongue is clearly the most mobile articulator, characterized by an extreme degree of fluidity. Ether and mercury are mobile liquids. Compare viscous, be organized and equipped for ready movement, as by truck or air transport. Mobile fighting force, mobile television. Units for on the spot recording. C, free for use or service anywhere not restricted or committed. Mobile dollars to be used anywhere not where they can best advance the welfare of the whole institution. Mobile labor could be sent anywhere in England. D, designed as a vehicle or mounted on a vehicle, or easily placed on or in a vehicle or mounted on a vehicle, or easily placed on or in a vehicle as a trailer or truck. Mobile loudspeakers carrying the campaign speeches into the streets. A mobile missile launch. Mobile home. Number 2, capable of or tending to change. Changeable as a changing readily in appearance and expression under the influence of mind or feeling. His mobile face mirrors every feeling, from bitter sadness to ecstasy. B, easily swayed in feeling, purpose, or direction. A mind adventurously flexible but not frivolously. C, marked by ready adaptability, industrial resources so mobile that they could be quickly switched from producing for export to producing for home demand, alert and flexible in the use of resources. A mobile imagination or organization mobile enough to cope with any emergency. C, number 3, characterized by frequent or continuous movement. The wind in mobile grasses tended to travel or migrate from place to place. We began as explorers, empire builders, pilgrims, and refugees, and we are still today the most mobile people on the face of the earth. Okay, the Indians of the Great Plains were mobile bison hunters. Number 4, A, characterized by the mixing of social groups, the general confusion of moral standards which characterizes mobile societies, affording opportunity for a shift in social status. Though highly mobile is not in social status, women. Though highly mobile is not classless. B, having the opportunity for or undergoing a shift in status within the hierarchy of social levels of a society in which women are more mobile than men, born of upward mobile middle class parents. Number 5, marked by the use of vehicles for transportation. Mobile defense, mobile warfare took to their card for a mobile holiday. Of relating to or having the characteristics of a mobile. Okay, that was mobile number 1. Mobile number 2. something that occasions movement or action. Number 2, a movable or moving body or part 1 that is mobile. B, number 1, a delicately balanced construction or sculpture, frequently made of wire and sheet metal shapes and having movable parts that can be set in motion by air currents or mechanical propulsion. Compare stable. Number 2, a set of lightweight figures as of animals or story characters that are suspended on fine wire or string so that they hang in perfect balance and may be moved by a current of air. Number 3, mobile. Mobile Latin is Latin, mobile vocus. Number 3, changeable crowd, the movable, common people. Mobile. Okay. See, that's the reason why the pronunciation is so important. When you have those syllable breaks, instead of saying mo on number 3, you say mobile. And as you know, number 4, mo, be a mobile, Alabama. Okay, let's go over here to mobster. Okay, mob plus is a noun. Mob plus stir. Mob plus stir. A member of a criminal gang. Okay. So let's go. Now this is copyright 1976. Copyright 1976. sorrow. Sorority. Sorority. Middle Latin, sororitas, from Latin, sorrow, sister, plus itis, id, more, and sister. Number one, sisterhood. Number two, a society or club of girls or women, as in a college. Compare, fraternity. Okay? Now, let's go down, let's go up here. Sororo, Latin, sorrow. Every time you look around, it be the same word, sorrow. Sororio, sororo, from sorrow, sister. Sororize. So let's break down the sorority. Okay, sorority. So let's go to so. Well, we got to, let's go with so. S-O. Okay, so number one. It's for soul. So it's really not saying anything like soul means sister. tell you what, we're gonna come back to so. We're gonna come back to so. Let's go to the Oxford English Dictionary. We're gonna come back. Hold on. We're gonna come back. I'm stir, S-T-E-R, or stir. Middle English, stir, estuary from Old English. If female agent king, the Middle Dutch stir. Number one that does or handles or operates, spinster, tapster, teamster. Number two, one that makes or uses songs to punster. Number three, one that is associated with or participating in gamester and gangster. So that's stir. Now, copyright 1971. Compact Oxford English Dictionary. The Compact Oxford English Dictionary. First edition and first supplement of the Oxford English Dictionary. It was completed April 19, 1928. 1928, and it was reissued as a set of 12 volumes and a 1-volume supplement in 1933. Then you had the second supplement. Then you had your second edition of the Oxford English Dictionary. And it was printed in 20 volumes. They were printed in 1989. 1989. Then you had your edition series, 1994. That was volume 1. Volume 1 was in 1994. 1994. The second volume in 1994. The third volume in 1997. They're working on a third edition. It'll be complete, expected to be completed in 2037. Now, the compact edition, the first one in 1971, 13 volume Oxford English Dictionary 1, 1933, was done in 1971. Was reprinted as a 2-volume compact edition. So this is the 1933. This is 1933. The compact Oxford English Dictionary that I'm reading from now. This is from 1933. It was reprinted as a 2-volume compact edition. No excuse. No excuse. Now, let's go to game. Old English gang, gong. Old Norse, ganger. Old High German, gang. Middle High German. Old Teutonic. Old Norse, gang, a weak feminine walking. A passage lobby from which some of the English senses may possibly be right. Okay, here we go. Number 1. Action or mode of going, way, passage. Alright. Number 2, the power of going, ability to walk about. B, manner of going, gait or carriage. C, the act of walking. D, currency. Number 3A, journey, sometimes a definition of extent. B, a traveling or resorting. Number 4, a way, road or passage. B, the course of a stream. C, a walk or pasture for cattle, also the right of pasturing. Number 5, a step or rung on the ladder. Number 6, dialect, a turn or spell in any work or exercise. Number 7, the quantity or amount usually carried at one time. Now, the Old English gang or gong, privy, appears in later English only as gong. So now we're at Roman numeral number 2. See, that was everything that was up under Roman numeral number 1. So now we're at Roman numeral number 2. And it means a set of things or persons. Number 8, a set of articles such as are usually taken together. B, a set of tools or implements so arranged as to work simultaneously. Number 9, a company of workmen. B, a company of slaves or prisoners. Number 10, any band or company of persons who go about together or act in a concert, chiefly in a bad or depreciatory sense and a mode. Okay, B, to be of a gang. Number 11, U.S., a collection or herd of animals of the same species of elk or buffalo, also a pack of dogs. Roman numeral number 3. Roman numeral number 3. Implements worked in sets. Okay. Now, gang number 2 is a verb. Gang number 2 is a verb. To arrange in a gang. To gang out. To arrange in companies. To gang in. To come in a gang. Alright. So there's a gang. There's no gangster in here. let's go to mob and mobile. Okay, we're gonna start with mob. Okay, mob is an abbreviation of mobile. Number one, the disorderly and riotous part of the population, the roughs, the rabble, and assemblage of the rabble, a tumultuous crowd bent on or liable to be incited to acts of lawlessness and outrage. One other mob, the common mass of people, the lower orders, the uncultured or illiterate as a class, the populace, the masses. This order, lower class people forming a crowd. Number four, a promiscuous assemblage of people, a multitude or aggregation of persons regarded as not individually important in Australian use, without disparaging implication, a crowd. B, a heterogeneous collection or crowd of things. C, original Australian flock or drove of animals. D, Shetland dialect, a school of whales. Number five, slang, company or gang of thieves or pickpockets working in collusion. Number six, okay, so that's mob number one. Now mob number two, obscure, the mob cap, a strumpet. Number two, a negligee attire, a dishabille, also mob dress. Then number three, a mob cap. Okay, mob number one, to muffle the head of a person, to dress untidily. To mob, to go, a mobbing, to go in disguise or attire so as to escape recognition to the unfashionable part of a theater. Okay, then you got mob as a verb, to attack in a mob or disorderly crowd, to crowd around and molest or annoy. To force a person into an action, drive him from a place by mobbing him. Okay, number two, to form a mob, to congregate in a mob or disorderly crowd. Number three, to mix up with a mob. Number four, to abuse, scold, rail it. Okay, so let's go to mobile. Okay, no first grand great principal mobile. Anglicized forms of prima mobile. Okay, Number 2, metaphysics, a body and motion or capable of movement. Okay, then you have mobile. Short form of Latin, mobile, vocus, the movable or excitable of a crowd. The common people, the populace, rabble, mob. Mobile. Number 1, capable of movement, movable, not fixed or stationary. B, of a limb, an organ of the body, movable, not fixed. Of a liquid that has its particles capable of free movement. D, of a cell, molecule capable of separate movement, free, not adnate or fixed. Mobile spasms, characterized by facility of movement. B, of a person, his mind itself, that turns or is turned easily from one thing to another. Okay, so that's mobile. That's mobile. Now let's go to fraternity, then we're going to go to sorority. Number 1, the relation of a brother or of brothers, brotherhood. The state or quality of being fraternal or brotherliness, a family of brothers. Number 4, a body or order of men organized for religious or devout purposes. A body of men associated by some tie or common interest, a company. A body of men of the same class, occupation, pursuits. So that's fraternity. We keep saying fray and fro, fray and fro. When you go to fray in this dictionary, it's going to tell you go to fro. When you go to fro, That's what they were fray and fro. And so the fro, it comes from fray. Then they tell you go to fro. But so there again on that fraternity, that fray, frat, fraternal, and all that, brother. Now let's go to sorority. Sorority. Middle of sororitas or soror means sister. Number one, a body or company of women united for some common object, especially for devotional purposes. The female section of a church congregation. Number two, U is a women's society in a college or university. Soror, sister. You're ready to end today's video. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county sheriff in the state of Tennessee. Thank all my fans, my support, for your continued encouragement and support, and always put God first. And until next time, take care of yourself. Wish each and every one of you the very best.